Hello guys and gals, welcome to a new tutorial. In today's tutorial we're going to be covering ice and how we can make a really cool tessellated shader that will have icicles falling from the bottom of your objects. So to show you how this will look, I've got some simple shapes here from the starter content. I'm just going to plop the material on and you can see the way that it affects them all. There we are. So it's quite a cool texture. You can see that it's quite shiny, it looks quite wet, and the icicles underneath have a variation of opacity and colour. It's a really nice effect, and we're going to cover that now. You're going to need two textures excuse me, that I'm going to provide for you that have been taken from cgtextures.com and then edited, so these are fine for me to hand out. I suggest you check out CG Textures. It's got a great amount of resources and you get 15 free credits a day, so you can get quite a lot out of it. And then the third texture that we're going to use, because we're going to be using three textures, is a engine content texture, so you don't have to worry about finding that one, because I'll show you where to find it. So let's begin. We're going to right click and we'll say material ice2_m. I've put a 2 in there because I already have an ice_m. You can skip the 2. Now what we're going to do is change the shading model to subsurface, just subsurface, not profile. Scroll down and then find tessellation, turn this on to flat tessellation, and tick crack-free displacement. What this is going to do is allow us to move the vertices using the material without breaking it. Without the crack-free, the verts won't pay attention to edges and they will split, and you can get holes in your material, and it's not very nice. So here we are. What we're going to do now is we are going to start with our colours. So hold 3 and left click, and we're going to do this twice for 2 different colours. These are 3 vectors. Now right click them each and convert them both to parameter. Now the first, we're going to call this light tone. The second, we're going to call this dark tone. And the values for the light tone, to match my example, of course you can put in anything that you want here. You could make purple ice if you wanted to do, is 0.398 in the red, then 0.57 in the green, followed by 0.83 in the blue. And for the dark, we are going to go with 0.079 in the red, 0.165 in the green, and 0.215 in the blue. Now we have our two colours together. What we're going to do is we are going to hold L and left click for a lerp, plug the light into A, the dark into B, and what the lerp is going to do is allow us to blend between these two colours based on an alpha, which is grayscale. Plug this into the base colour real quick, then right click and search for a Fresnel, and this is what we're going to use for our alpha. If you haven't seen a Fresnel before, it basically gives you a dark and light tone based on the angle that you're looking at. So you can see here, depending on the angle, we get a different result, which is really cool. Excuse me. What we're going to do with this is we're actually going to hold O and left click for a 1- to reverse it, pretty much. It's going to take the values and then multiply by -1. Plug this into the alpha, and that's going to be what we use for our colours. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is hold 1 and left click for a constant, plug that straight into metallic, hold 1 and left click for another constant, change this to 0.3, and we're going to use this for roughness, but rather than just have a flat roughness, which will make the entire surface the same amount of shiny, we're going to right click and search for noise, and then hold A and left click for an add, and add the noise to the 0.3, and then plug this into the roughness. And what this is going to do is it's going to give us areas that are slightly shinier than others, which will make it look a little bit wet. Let's quickly press apply here just so I can get this to update quicker. There we are. So you can see how we've got these nice patches here. Very, very nice. So the next thing that we're going to do is add the normals in. So we're going to grab our two textures and drag those into the material. And what we're going to do with these is we're going to add them together. So if we hold A and left click, we get an add. Just plug both normals in. If we preview this, you can see how we get the result of both of these together. So if we just preview one, you can see the waviness. If we preview the other, you can see the stoniness, and if we preview the add, you can see the two of them blended on top of each other. Okay, so we'll stop previewing that. What we're going to do is hold M and left click for a multiply, hold U and left click for a texture coordinate, and hold S and left click for a scalar parameter. Plug the scalar in the texture coordinate into the multiply, and we'll call the scalar scale, and set that to a default of 1. And then we'll plug the multiply into the UVs of both of these normal textures. What this allows us to do is change the scale of these textures, so that if we wanted to, we could make this pattern repeat more or repeat less. Now we'll plug the add into the normal pin on the material. Change this back to a sphere real quick, zoom out and apply. And now we'll be able to see that on the material itself. There we go. Looking good. So this isn't quite what we want yet though. We need to add a little bit more to this. Because right now we're just getting white, despite the fact that both of our colours are blue. And this is because of the subsurface. There's nothing going into subsurface. So right click, Fresnel. This is what we're going to be using to determine where our colours change. And then hold A and left click for an add. And what we're going to add to this is a 3 vector, so hold 3 and left click. Now the colour of this is 0.075 in the red, 0.376 in the green, and 0.47 in the blue. We're just going to right click that, convert that to a parameter, and we're going to call it subsurface. There we are. And now we were going to plug this into the subsurface color. If we press apply now, it will go blue, which will be really, really nice. There we are. Nice and blue. So essentially now what we've got is this nice color is all we're going to be really able to see. So if we were to just quickly create a new sphere and plop the new material on there, once it compiles, we'll get sort of similar to this, but without any of this nice spikiness underneath. Here it comes, get ready for it. Or not. There we go. So you can see we've got the nice colours, but we haven't got the spikiness underneath. And you'll notice that my scale is different on this one to this one. That's because this has been scaled down. We can see a seam here because I haven't scaled it quite correctly, but there you go. Sue me. Haha, don't sue me. I don't have any money. Try. So let's go back into the ice material, and we're going to change this around a bit. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to do the tessellation. So we're just going to drag this out a little bit because we're going to need a little bit of space to work. And this is where our third texture comes in. Hold T and left click for a texture sample, and then click the little non drop down, and under view options turn on show engine content. By default show engine content is turned off. We need that on. Click this on, and then we're going to search for tiling, and we find tiling noise 05, and that's the one that I'm using. Okay, now we're going to hold M for a multiply, and we're going to plug this in. But now what we need to do is we need to create a mask. Now we only want our tessellation to work downwards, so for tessellation we need a vertex normal world space, and what this is going to do is going to check where a vertex is in world space, and then it's going to move them dependent on how much tessellation we add. But we don't actually want all of this at all. What we're going to do is we're going to component mask this, and we will remove the red and the green, and we only want the blue channel. And if we were to start previewing this now, what we should get is just this nice top mask here, so it's just white on the top. That's exactly what we want, but we don't quite want it this way, we want it backwards, so we're going to multiply this by -1, multiply -1, and now if we were to preview this, it's underneath. Yay, exactly what we need. So we'll start previewing that. Now we're going to drag out from the multiply and clamp this down because we don't want anything above or underneath a specific number. Okay, so we'll start previewing this. You can see, there we go, it's still working, and now we've clamped it. We're going to plug this into the multiply with the texture. So now what we get is our texture, but only on the bottom. If we preview this, there we go, black on top, white underneath. Stop previewing that. And now we need to multiply this again, and what we're multiplying this by this time is a 3 vector, get your words together, for a color. Now, these are going to act as our coordinates. You can see here we have x, y, and z. X is red, y is green, and z is blue. This is why we've taken the blue here, and what we got was a mask underneath, because the z is going to be up and down, y is going to be this and this way, and x is going to be this and this way. So what we need is a number value here just for blue. So we're going to open this up and we're just going to give blue a value. I'm going to default this down to 50. So we're going to say, why did it put a 0.4? Stop putting a 0.4, look at that, it's doing that on its own, whatever. And then it just says 50 here. Okay, we'll just do it your way, Unreal, you're having a funny day today. What we're going to do with this then, because 50 is a positive value, which is up, we don't want up, we want this to point down, so we're going to multiply this by -1. And this will give us a set of negative coordinates, so these will point downwards. Plug this into the multiply, and then we're going to plug that into world displacement, which is our tessellation. Let's just move this all around a bit, just because I'm aware that I'm spaghettiing things. You get over here. Come on. There we are. And then we just need see how we're getting these icicles now? Only on the bottom? Nice. We're going to say, hold S for a scalar parameter, plug this into this tessellation multiplier. We're going to call this, test mult. We're going to default this down to 2, and then we'll apply. And that is our material finished. Okay, now I'm going to quickly show you guys how to use this further. So you see now we're getting icicles only on the bottom, so it's doing what we want. You see we're getting this nice shininess. It's really cool. So it should now be applied to this sphere, so we should be able to see it here. But it's doing the compiling shaders again. I swear I really need to get a new computer. Please, God, let me win the lottery. And then God said, you have to actually play the lottery. Okay. There we go. So we can see this is working out now. See how we've got just like the nice icicles on the bottom. Now, we're going to right-click our material and create a material instance. And we're going to apply that to the sphere instead of the main material. And the reason we're going to do that is because this then allows us to go in, tick all of our parameters that we made, and then we can change things based on how we want them. So say if I want this to have half as many ripples, I can say 0.5 on the scale, and then we've got half as many ripples. Of course this is going to give me a seam just because it doesn't tile correctly in the middle, but we can ignore that for now. And then we can even change some of the other stuff. Now I did forget, let's go back into here, to right click subsurface, which I've spelled really weird. Subsurface. Subsurface? Come on, let's fix that. No, it's not that one though, we need to change it. It's this one. Right click this one, which is the 0050, and we're going to call this tessellation amount, and then just in brackets I'm going to put blue only, just so that I know only to change the blue. Although, because we've masked out other things, the red and the green won't really change the tessellation. So, once that's done, we'll press apply, head back into our instance, turn on the tessellation amount, excuse me, and then I'll quickly compare it to my other one, just so that you guys can get the exact same values. And my amount, I think I just left it, oh no I didn't leave it 50, 121. So tessellation amount, we're going to change this blue to 121. We get a much longer amount of tessellation there, much sharper points. And then, what did I have my other things at? Ignore the scale, and then tessellation multiplier turned down a bit. There we go. Just to soften them a little bit, because I didn't like how sharp they were. There we go. And then my colours were slightly different as well. I made this one lighter. So my dark was such and such, which we'll just save up there. Here are the numbers for that. 0.85 in red, 0.176 in green, and 0.23 in blue if you want that specifically. And the light colour, which I will also save up here, is 0.529 in red, 0.653 in green, and 0.84 in blue. So if I go into the Ice 2 instance, and then I just change these colours to match them nicely. There we are. It helps if I get the subsurface as well. Or did I not change the subsurface? I don't think I changed the subsurface. It's okay. Back into this one. Subsurface. Oh, I did. And a subsurface of 0.203, 0.444, and 0.52. And that gives us the same colours. Now the reason it looks a little bit brighter, I suppose, is because the scale is different. So let's just quickly copy the scale over, just because I want to get as same as I can. Although they're looking a little different. Just collapse these down real quick, just so I can see them all. Oh, they're the same. They're the same. It's probably a lighting thing. Just need to rebuild the lighting because these have been built. But there you have it. Some really cool ice for you guys. This was just something that I threw together this morning while experimenting and really liked the outcome, and I thought, you know what, I'll share this with all my guys and gals. So there you have it, and just so that we can see our new version, or rather the version we've just made together on other objects as well, just copy these over, and then give this to all of these. It is a little bit darker, isn't it? Perhaps it was the Fresnel. Nope. No. It's all the same. All the same. All the same. All the same. I know what it is. I know what it is. I am a silly goose, right? We didn't do the opacity, guys. Yeah. So opacity. Hold 1, left click for a constant, plug this into the opacity, and set this to 0.2. That is going to give us a slightly a faked thinner surface, which is going to make the subsurface work a little bit more. So now they'll match perfectly, or they should, because I'd forgotten to give the opacity for the subsurface to work in the intended way. So that one's got 2, that one's got 2, that one's got 2, this one's got 2. So they should pretty much all be identical now when they decide to compile. There we go. Perfect. Trust me to miss out like one tiny little thing like that. I mean, come on. On my own material as well. Right, so there you have it, guys. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Have fun with that. I hope you can use that in some of your projects. You can use it on larger objects too, so we could probably take this and just thwap that up and poof. There we go. You can see how it's adding some nice icicles to the bottom there. Obviously, this isn't unwrapped in such a way that this texture works properly, so you know you'd have to unwrap things for it to work in the intended manner. But you know it should work on pretty much any item. And just so that you guys can see, the way that the tessellation is working, if I was to take an object and rotate it, the icicles will always face downwards. They will never face upwards or sideways. And that's because of the mask. You see that? That's really, really cool. Same with this one. We can do the same with these stairs here. We can say, you know what, have some ice, rotate these around and have it all icy at the bottom of them. Really weird looking and freaky. But there you go, the icicles will always face downwards. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I can't help but mess around. You see this? You see this? Probably won't work on the guy. Anyway, have fun with that, guys. The Dropbox will not the Dropbox. The Google Drive will be in the description, along with my Twitter, my Patreon, and my Discord channel. Feel free to come along and check that out. With the rest of us, it's quite a few of us in there now, chatting on a daily basis. It's quite fun, and you get to bug the living hell out of me non-stop. Haha, unless I turn off my phone, in which case, yeah. So there we have it. Nice ice. Hopefully you guys can use that. This is a proper sign off now because, you know, we've remembered that opacity's there. So yeah, have fun with that. And I just want to wait for him. Tutorial's over. If you want to go, you can go. I'm just gonna wait for him. Just for the sake of it. You can wait with me. You want do 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 do. I was like, I think that's Sonic 3, the mushroom. I don't know. I can't remember. I haven't played it for quite a while. Come on, it's probably not even going to work on him. It's just going to look like he's got really frozen, sweaty armpits, and maybe a little bit on his chin. It's going to be too long for him. It's gonna look bizarre though. Oh my! What have I done to you? Oh god. Does it work if he's... Oh no! Oh, he's seen better days. He has seen better days. Why is he like this? Why am I like this? Look what I've done. I've created a monster. Blah. Blah. Anyway, I'm going now. See you guys next time.